Welcome back to another episode of What's New Wednesday. It is August 28th, and we will be talking about things that have happened between August 23rd and August 28th. A short amount of time, but it is what it is. Lots has happened though. Bitcoin was unable to stay above the 200 EMA on the 4-hour since its price surge on Friday the 23rd, and it has liquidated over $340 million in long positions. Popular Web3 game Shrapnel has several high-profile team members leave the team recently, which has caused some FUD in their community. The Boss Fighters airdrop that I mentioned last Friday is a zealy quest, and it's gearing up for the open beta release of Boss Fighters in August 30th. But is the zealy quest system working? We'll talk about that. Bigtime has announced their entry into the Telegram game world with their Clocky Chaos pre-alpha game. We'll talk about that. And they've also announced the release of their official Bigtime orchestral soundtracks, giving the game's in-game music a much needed facelift. So that's pretty exciting. Let's jump right into it and start talking about what we like to talk about first, which is crypto on a whole. Bitcoin price primarily. Jump into some charts. All right, Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour. Last week we had a special Friday edition of What's New Wednesday, and on that Friday we saw a huge pump all the way up to about $65,000 per Bitcoin, and we talked about how the bulls had beat the bears and caused over $100 million in shorts to liquidate, breaking a 3-week high around $62 and going all the way up to about 65,000. Last week we said that we hoped that this bullish price action would continue and that it had created a new level of support around 62,000, and that we wouldn't see the price drop below the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, but it did. The bears won, unfortunately, on yesterday, Tuesday, the 27th of August, and caused over $340 million worth of longs to liquidate, including my long. We have some articles here that sort of detail all this. This article by Benzinga talks about how, $362 million worth of longs liquidated across the crypto market. And we also have some other things they're talking about here. We talked a couple of weeks ago about how Bitcoin on exchanges was the lowest it's been since 2018. Well, that has definitely changed. We have a surge in exchanges. Net flows surged by 477%. So it looks like a lot of people were making moves on this last dip down, and a lot of people sold, causing the price to crash. If we look down here, there's this other article by Daily Hodl, which kind of says the same thing. $324 million in liquidations hits crypto market as Bitcoin loses the 60K level. What are they saying in this article? If we were to summarize, I think this chart basically speaks for itself, but they say, for those asking, no, this has not been you're talking about the initial sort of idea that we're going to be seeing a big move up to 100K come Q4 2024. And they expect this to be actually, both these articles are indicating that this price action could be part of a larger bullish continuation pattern. You see here, that's what he's showing there. If you look here, this is another post that was in the Benzinga article. Both of them are saying this could be part of a bullish price continuation pattern. And we could see this be kind of like a local bottom before Bitcoin heads towards the anticipated 100K region by Q4 2024. In my opinion, we could see Bitcoin touch 56K, 54K before it leaves this price range behind and heads up towards the fabled $100,000 Bitcoin in Q4. That's kind of my thoughts on crypto and Bitcoin right now. I see that have a pretty decent amount of support here at around 56K. We could see it go probably down to 54K at most and touch that before it continues upwards. And hopefully we break all-time highs sometime moving into September, October. That's all for the crypto side of things. On the Web3 gaming front, some people might remember that Shrapnel has been embroiled in a lawsuit against one of its founders. Been embroiled in this lawsuit since like November 2023. It seems like this drama has caused some high-profile team members to leave the company to pursue a more stable work balance. Let's quickly read through this notice that the CEO has put up on Twitter as well as in their Discord. They kind of put it in these little images, which is kind of nice, I guess. Our Shrapnel community are the absolute best, and we are committed to transparency, and collaboration during this wild game dev journey. We'd like to fill the vacuum of uncertainty on a few important topics. It's true some people have left the team recently for various reasons, including pursuing new opportunities. Look for their updates on LinkedIn if you'd like. We always try to part ways with best wishes for each person. The industry has been particularly volatile this year. Fortunately, our bench is deep. Our game team and platform dev team and creator tools team are still among the very best in the industry, and work continues. Also, as some of you may know, founder level litigation continues in the background. We remain open to reasonable discussion towards settlement, but if such a resolution is not possible, then we are committed to pursuing and protecting our rights in court. The good news is our lawyers are great. The legal process has restored control of the board to us, and any distraction to the product team is minimized. We are optimistic. They say day to day in our studio, we are focused on the public releases that matter most, increased availability of the best game we can make, high quality on-chain assets players love, increasing Shrap token utility. Our roadmap supports these priorities. In Q4, we will host an extended early access event, which serves as the live ops foundation necessary for our always on free-to-play launch in the first half of 2025. So looks like they're still trying to, honor their promises to the community. In short, it's a bumpy road, but we are steadfast. We are fully focused on the highest priority work, committed to delivering the best game and Web3 ecosystem possible. Yours sincerely, Mark Long and Don Norbury. So that's a really optimistic sort of perspective. It makes me feel good. Stash put out a video yesterday about this, and honestly, if you guys want to have a deep dive into everything that you need to know about the whole Shrapnel fiasco, I would recommend going to his social at CryptoStash and giving this video a watch. But we're just gonna watch like a very small part of it where he talks about the people who left.
Don Norbury and quite a few others here that we see, and most of these people have not talked about leaving, but we're going to talk about who has and why it's really important. So first one up here is Clint Bundrick. Now he's the principal designer at Undead Labs. That's his new position essentially. But he was the creative director for Shrapnel from 2022 till August 2024. Here just earlier, a couple of weeks ago, he is essentially saying that he's gone, he's left, right? So he's moved on. So this is one person. Creative director is almost as high as it gets, right, when it comes to the actual game. Then we look at another key personnel here, Paul, and Paul also has resigned his position here as head of studio services at Shrapnel. Also a big upper level management position here. We also see Andy Johnson, who is the executive producer, former executive producer.
Those are the people who've stepped down some pretty significant positions, in my opinion. And that sort of begs the question, right? Like, what does this mean for the fate? This highly anticipated Web3 game, is Shrapnel in trouble? Will the Shrapnel core team be able to stop this brain bleed and keep the talent needed in order to make this game a success? I think it kind of remains to be seen. We have a lot to see what happens. Aztec says the game is done. That's a significant amount of team members that are leaving. But the CEO, in that statement I just read, did say that they still have plenty of people on the bench, so to speak, plenty of team members that will be able to pick up the slack. So I don't know what that really means. Will Shrapnel be able to recover? I hold a little bit of Shrapnel tokens. I have one of their heavy packs and things like that, but I haven't really enjoyed playing the game, honestly. When they do their little play tests, the mechanics are a little bit sluggish for me, and you're just basically playing in a gray box, which doesn't really feel good, in my opinion. Playing in like a gray box or a white box or a black box, whatever you want to call it in the game dev world, just basically means like an untextured world with nothing's pretty about it. That's a good point. It's going to be hard for them to rebuild their reputation. But if you guys are watching this in the future, let me know in the comments what you think about this game, the drama, and whether you think it can still succeed. I'm curious to know what everybody's thoughts are about this. Hopefully, we don't want to wish them ill, right? We want good games to succeed in the space, and hopefully they're able to pick things up from the ashes and create something special. Game development is generally pretty chaotic, and a lot of things can happen in the process of developing a game, and that's even if you're developing the game with closed doors and you're not actively openly developing the game in public. So who knows what they're going to be able to accomplish. All right, so we'll move on from that and we switch over to the open loot topics. Last episode, we talked about this BFT token airdrop campaign that Boss Fighter has going on, and I incorrectly assumed that this was like a play to airdrop campaign, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I was wrong. It seems like this is actually a zealy campaign. So zealy campaign is moving up towards when the game goes live on August 30th and before they do a mystery box sale on August 29th. So this is kind of what the zealy campaign is for. It's leading up to the open beta launch of Boss Fighters. So, okay, I've used zealy before, but for some reason I'm stuck in this loop where I'm unable to actually participate, and I'm curious if this is happening to anybody else. If you are having a hard time participating, let me know in the comments, but this is what happens for me. If I click this link, it just spits me right back to the home page, and if I find the Boss Fighters thing and I click on it, it spits me back to the home page. The only way that I'm actually able to even see the quest is if I log out of zealy and then click on the link. It'll send me to the actual quest page. I can see the quest, but obviously I can't participate in them unless I sign in. If I click connect to zealy and I log in, see, now it's not even letting me log in. I'm stuck in this weird loop where I'm not able to actually participate in this airdrop campaign. I'm curious if anybody else is having problems with using the zealy platform for this airdrop campaign. It would be nice to be able to participate, but it just doesn't seem to be happening for me. In short, the only time that I'm able to actually see the quest is when I'm not signed in. And if I do manage to sign in, I'm unable to see the quest. I just get put right back onto the home page. So I guess I'm just not going to be able to participate in this airdrop campaign, which kind of sucks. I wanted to, but I'm curious if this is a larger issue that is affecting people other than just me. So let me know in the comments if you have had a hard time using this or participating in this airdrop. That's about that for Boss Fighters right now. Let's take a look at some Bigtime news. Bigtime has entered the Telegram craze with their own Telegram game called Clocky Chaos. Pre-alpha. This game is kind of like a bubble breaker game where you drop different colored clockies in groups in order to, break them and collect time shards. The more time shards you have, the more open loot reward points you're going to get, but the amount of open loot reward points that you get per amount of time shards is still to be determined. But if you are chasing that open loot airdrop and you're trying to get as many open loot tokens as possible, this is just one more way that you can increase your payout. And they also have social tasks that you can do in order to get more time shards to further increase your share of open loot. I'm not really big on Telegram games, but I guess I'll be dabbling in it a little bit and kind of give you guys a quick peek on it if you can see my phone. Oh, it's not really gonna work, is it? Anyways, there's just little blocky heads there and they're moving along the bottom and you just have to rearrange them into groups. Once they hit a group, then they will break the bubble or break. The more you do this, the more shards you're gonna get. It's pretty simple, pretty idle game, but you can't just let it sit here doing it by itself, because if you do that, you'll lose for sure. Like, you have to consciously try and... It's a game, which I like that it's actually a game, because it's felt kind of like most Telegram games aren't really much of a game. But yeah, that's one way that you can start collecting your rewards. And then there's also, a social tasks tab where you can retweet posts, engage on YouTube videos, things like that. Really straightforward. So definitely worth checking out if you are trying to get as much open loot tokens as possible when it goes live. All right, last little bit of Bigtime news here. Came as a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't know that Bigtime was working on improving their in-game music soundtrack, because I don't remember seeing it on their roadmap or anything, but they really went all out on this. They collaborated with this Budapest scoring orchestra to make some really badass scores. Very full, very epic, very big time. And I think this music will really give the Bigtime experience on a whole, like a little bit of a facelift. Let's give this trailer a little listen. That's pretty sick. I gotta say, like, that's really epic. I'm happy to see that they did this, even though I didn't really see it on the roadmap. I think it's gonna really add something to the game. I personally don't really play big time with my music on because I stream, so I usually play my own stream music while I'm playing big time. But it's making me feel like it would probably be worth turning my music on when I'm playing by myself. Like, it might actually be enjoyable. If you guys want, you can watch or listen to the soundtrack on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, all over the place. It's everywhere. So you definitely gonna wanna give that a listen if you feel like that's something that you're interested in. Nice orchestral music. It felt like freaking like a Lord of the Rings soundtrack or something like that. So it's pretty epic. That's the last thing we're going to be discussing today. Let me know if you guys are excited about seeing this music in the game, or maybe you think it's a waste of time and money. I don't know. Curious to see what you guys' thoughts are, but I think it's cool. That's it for What's New Wednesday this week, guys. If you are watching this in the future, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, follow, leave a comment, and as always, don't forget to tell somebody about it, and I will see you guys next week.